All right, hi everyone. This is the SMI community meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 18th. We have an announcement and a few discussion items today, and then we'll open the floor at the end of the meeting for any other discussion items from the community. So we'll get started with Bridget. Bridget, you want to talk about Kubecon?
Yep, just a reminder to everybody that Kubecon is coming. It is in October. It is mid-October. It is physically in Los Angeles and it is virtually online. The virtual office hour will be on Bevy, hosted by CNCF. And I think we need to determine when we want to sign up for that. I know that they were in the process of doing Project Pavilion signups for the longer blocks of time, and we're not going to staff a booth for 4 hours a day every day, but we probably will do an office hour. So start thinking about what you want us to make that community conversation about. We'll work on that in the coming weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bridget. The other two items are mine. So the first one is pull request 228, which basically is, it just updates the contributing guide to let people know that if you want to make a contribution to the spec, you should do that on the draft branch on this repo. And that way we'll be able to more easily see and understand and iterate on the actual changes to the spec without having to modify main. So if people are looking for like a stable version of the spec or all the versions of the APIs, historical versions of the APIs, they can do that on the main version of the branch. But if you're trying to like work and go back and forth on the spec, then you can do that on the draft branch until we decide to cut a release. We don't have a regular release cadence yet, so maybe that's something we could consider in the future. It's just mainly like, okay, there's a big change. We want to implement it and use it in our implementations. And so that's kind of when we cut a release right now. The other, so if there are any issues with that, or you want to update that contributing guide with even more information or step-by-step guidance, like if you have anything that makes that better, like feel free to make that contribution. The other topic that I have, oh, actually, does anybody have any questions on the draft branch?
Just a clarification. So this is when people are proposing a change to the spec, they PR it to the draft branch. If it gets merged there, then it's in the draft branch. Then when a release gets cut, then that gets cut to merged into main.
Yes.
Is that how we imagine it? Yeah. So we don't imagine release branches necessarily, or?
We can still do release branches for historical context, but the main branch will serve as like kind of the latest stable release.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, anything else? Okay. The traffic specs portion of the spec has also been refactored, or I've been refactoring it. I have pull request 229 open. Essentially, it changes the matches key in the, I think it's the HTTP route group spec to routes, which kind of, it just makes the entire document more readable. When we were referencing that portion of the API, we were referencing it as routes, but we had the matches key above it. So it just, I think it makes the spec a little bit more clear. If anybody has a few minutes to just kind of read through that and provide some feedback, that'd be really appreciated, or any LGTMs also. So that's all I have.
Actually,
go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Before we move on to any other topics, I have a question about this PR actually. Mm-hmm. I noticed that you're updating V1 Alpha 4 to V1 Alpha 5 draft, but this PR also renames that file and removes the files, as far as I can tell, for V1 Alpha 1, 2, and 3. Can you give us a little insight into what's happening with like this PR in terms of the versions?
Oh yeah, totally. So I could probably split it into two PRs, but essentially I needed to prep the draft branch for this change. And instead of copying and adding, like copy pasting a new file and then changing that, I decided to git move the last version and just like update that, and then delete all the other files. And what that does is it just helps us like actually see the line changes more clearly. If I just copy and paste the whole file, then you're gonna not understand what the exact changes were. So in the draft branch, yeah, so this just basically removes those old API files and then updates does the git move on the new file. We'll kind of have to figure out what the process should be going forward, because the other API groups have not been updated like this. So I was just trying to kind of play with it and get something out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I just wanted to make sure that we made that very clear, because otherwise it could be like, when we cut a new release, we now get rid of the old ones, or I don't know. I wanted to make sure people weren't as confused as I was momentarily. Happy to be the confused person.
Thanks for asking.
Okay, so I guess I have one other topic, which is we had a multi-cluster working group, and we took the summer off because, hey, but now we're up to next week would be the date that we had considered maybe bringing the multi-cluster working group back. So I guess my question to the community is, does someone want to run the multi-cluster working group meetings? What do we have an agenda for them? Like right now it's on the calendar for next week. Is it happening? Yeah, so that's my question.
I'd be,
go ahead.
Sorry, Cal.
Mike, what were you saying?
Oh, just I would be vaguely interested in at least attending. Like I could probably like help take notes or something like that. I don't know that I'm necessarily in a position to like moderate or like drive that work forward right now though. I guess like from our perspective at like Passport Console, we're also tracking some of the work that's been happening with like the MCS, the like SIG multi-cluster, and the work that's happening there, and trying to like basically keep an eye on where all of the multi-cluster stuff is going. So yeah.
No more
Hi,
so
Nick.
those who had served in Afghanistan,
Hey there.
fighting the campaign, cost the lives of 450.
Sorry, going on my phone. It's dinner time. Apologies for being a little late.
Through anger and grief.
Hi, Nick.
Yep.
Michelle, you want to bring us up to speed?
Oh, I literally just joined. Sorry.
Hey, okay, so I think, yeah, we went on summer vacation. I was trying to find the multi-cluster document. I think where we left off was that there is a, yeah, there we go, request for comment out. I'm gonna drop a link right here. And it seems to me that there are not that many comments. We could definitely just have the meeting and go over, kind of go over these comments and see if there's anything like that. It's a blatant like no, or kind of just like have a simple working meeting. But I think what we were trying to get to was scoping the problem. So I didn't lead any of those meetings. We can always talk to the people that did and ask if they want to have that meeting. I would hate to do it without them. So
yeah, same. I would want to make sure like Delian and other folks that had been engaged in that like are available and interested in continuing that work.
Yeah, so let's just like maybe sync on this async in this SMI chat, but good thing to bring up and follow up on. TBD.
Okay, awesome. I also, since we have a minute, I guess I'll also add another question, like 2 weeks from today, I will be out. Who, if anyone, would like to moderate and take notes in this meeting?
I can take notes.
Okay.
I can moderate, just let me make sure I'm here.
It is
2 weeks.
September, it will be September 1st, I believe.
Yeah, I should be here.
Okay, cool. I will take note of that then.
What was I gonna say? Okay, cool. So we talked about multi-cluster. Anything else from you, Bridget? Okay. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up?
I do. Apologies. Just before I took vacation as well, I did a bunch of work on the SDK, which I think finishes all of the type system on there now. There's a little bit of logic that needs to go in around like checking dependencies. So obviously wherever a referenced object is, wherever there's a referenced object, we should basically keep that in the queue and be eventual consistent until blah, 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 you know, the standard sort of Kubernetes CRD stuff. But I've got a PR open, which I tagged you on earlier on, Michelle, if you wouldn't mind just kind of like merging that in, because Keith has done some great work around the Istio stuff. So I started the Istio adapter using the new SDK. Keith has gone in and added a bunch of stuff into that, which I'd like to get merged, and then we can kind of start progressing as well with addressing the sort of the Kubeflow stuff. But I think it should be a fairly straightforward. I did a bunch of work around getting all of the CRDs generated automatically, and upgraded the Kube builder stuff to I think a latest version. So it's probably a, if I were you, I would YOLO the change, and trust me, because it's like about a billion changes.
Yeah, it's like 191 lines, 10,000 lines, or 191
no.
files. Oh my God. But yeah, that sounds awesome. Great. Nick, is there any kind of like testing you want me to do, or no? This is a YOLO.
Just YOLO it, and then we can
Okay.
chat offline about that, so the other stuff on there. But it's pretty much complete now. All of the conversion logic's there. Validation logic I looked at. I think it's worthwhile like tackling the validation logic, because I think there's a lot of benefit in having that stuff. I haven't started it, but it's, you know, it's pretty straightforward to author that. We basically just define it through the, I can't remember how you do it, but it's, yeah, it's pretty straightforward anyway. It's annotation based. But yeah, like it's good news. We can kind of push forward a little bit on the Istio adapter, and then I'll do a gap analysis later on this week to kind of see where we are with relation to where the old one is. But if all's working, maybe we can look forward to getting the old Istio adapter superseded and have the new one up and running with the latest versions of Istio and all that good stuff, which means Kubeflow are unblocked.
Bless your
That's
heart.
exciting.
Thank you, Nick. Hey, did you have to use the newest version of Kube Builder? Did you like get all the directory structure stuff? Like, did all your automating and automated generation of like CRDs and everything go smoothly? Or did you have like a bunch of hiccups? Okay. Because I ran into a bunch of stuff too.
It was, I mean, it was kind of like the second circle of hell to try and get it all mixed in. It was, I wouldn't necessarily say it was an enjoyable task, but it was a lot of kind of like manual stuff. The main thing that I had a problem with was generating the Helm chart, because Kube Builder and like it does it uses I forget the name of the other
Customize.
thing. Customize, yes.
Yeah.
It uses a bunch of customized stuff to generate like CRDs and stuff, and then to get that to play nice with Helm charts. Well, like Customize doesn't play nice with Helm charts because it really kind of freaks when you try and embed things like Go template type stuff in certain areas. So I got it working. I'm not proud, but it's a kind of a combination of customize. There's a little bit of sed, but ultimately, we now have a repeatable process where you can define stuff in the config files, the object files, the Go object files, run the make file. It will go through the whole process, generate the CRDs, generate the Helm chart, and all of that stuff. But yeah, like, yeah, I'm proud of that. It works. Just don't look under the carpet. Because
That's so awesome. I think there's like issues and stuff out there around wanting Kube Builder to spit out Helm charts. So maybe that's something we could like contribute or something.
yeah, I looked at that and there's some plugins, and I thought that'd be pretty cool. But I wanted to get something working.
Yeah.
First step, but yeah, it does work. Well, it worked
Sweet.
on my machine. So
Cool. All right. Cool. So that's awesome. Great news. I know the Kubeflow people will be super happy about that. Anybody else have any other discussion items? Awkward silence was held for long enough. Okay, if not, just a reminder, I'm going to keep tackling away or chunking away at, I don't know what the right phrase is, but hammering away at the traffic split stuff so we can get it kind of towards beta. So you'll see a lot of PRs and stuff going in that direction. And PR reviews are very welcome.
Just wanted to have one question, and this is with regards to the traffic split. Are we having any integration with for traffic management as well? So like, how does it, how will this current PR for the traffic split sort of affect the traffic management?
So there's, okay, so like, it shouldn't, okay, so the current PR actually changes HTTP route group. And it really just, it's mainly renaming because we wanted to do some renaming on the traffic split API, but it just wasn't making sense to me. I tried it a few times. I tried writing it a few times and it wasn't very intuitive. And so I realized that the problem was not really traffic split, it was HTTP route group. And so that's why I made that change. Any upcoming change to traffic split will not actually impact behavior as it's generally stated in the split spec. It'll just change up the API to make the behavior more intuitive. That's all. And it's the only like actual logical change is that currently in the implementation of traffic split, or actually, sorry, in traffic split today, you cannot reference a particular route match. Like if you are referencing if you want to do AB traffic shifting or traffic splitting, for example, you want to do that on headers, HTTP headers, for example, you might have an HTTP route group that basically lists a bunch of route matches. Right now, if you have one HTTP route group object that references several different route matches, you can't in a traffic split just access one route match. So that'll be like an upcoming change. You'll be able to like do that. Because right now, if you just have more than one, it just merges all the rules and it's a little bit unclear. I don't know if all of that makes sense, but there's more context in the issue. Does that make sense, Shiva?
Yep, yeah.
Okay, cool, great. Any other questions on that? Okay, I think we're really close. I think a lot of people have tried traffic split and I think we're like, you know, we got 10% more to go, so. All right, with that, I think we can wrap up. Any other items before we wrap up? Okay, we have a moderator and a note taker for next week, so we're good for next, or in 2 weeks, and then we'll follow up on the multi-cluster meeting in Slack. So thanks everyone, have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks.
Later, bye.